Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker. She's the owner broker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, a lot of people look at those automated valuations like on Zillow or their neighbor's asking price to try to determine the value of their home, especially now that it's taking longer to sell a home. How does a home seller decide what price to set when they're getting ready for selling their home?
Well, Richard, a lot of people don't know the answer to that question. A lot of times I'll ask them, what do you think it's worth? And usually the answer I get is, well, Zillow says it's worth X, or my neighbor sold for this amount, or I want this much, right? Or I had one that came back and said, no, my financial advisor said I should sell it for this much. I'm like, really? And how many houses did he sell? Anyway, at the end of the day, it's the market that decides what the home will sell for. Most sellers want the most money. I get it. But there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I found that even if their home is what I call the pretty category, like beautiful, completely updated, top notch, if you price that home realistically, you'll get a dog pile of buyers, multiple offers, and that actually leads to the most money, more so than pricing high and then walking the price down. But the traditional thought process is, oh, well, let's try this number. And if we don't get it, then we'll lower the price. Well, the problem is all of these tech companies, Zillow has over 70% of the buyer traffic on their website. And they are showing right there on that page every price change that you made, right? They know the history on it. And it puts this perception out there. If you lower the price that, oh, there's something wrong. Oh, maybe the seller is motivated. Oh, maybe I could wait a little longer and get even less money for the house if they like it. So we see that thought process going on with buyers, but just the opposite takes place if the home is priced just slightly below. It doesn't take a lot, just slightly below market, and all the buyers think it's a great deal. They all come in with their best offer. And that, for me, is the funnest situation working with a home seller. Because if you price it too high, you get very few showings, very few requests, and you're actually helping your neighbors sell their home. You're not helping sell your home. But some people, of course, they try to squeeze as much money as they can out of their house. I get that. But the opposite strategy that I just mentioned actually usually works the best, because it's the buyer side who's going to buy it. I had one recently where the home, if it had been updated, if it had been, meaning improved in the 1990s, so they didn't update the carpet, the windows were old, the screens were tired. I think the only thing that was updated were the appliances, but everything else, and the roof. So they did some basics, but they didn't go in and put counters and do all the Corinthian leather that the builders do. But the home's in good location. So had it been updated, it probably would have been worth over 500,000, but it was not. And so the seller chose to price it realistically because he wanted to sell it quickly, right? And I said, all right, let's try 435. Huge crowd at the open house, multiple offers, sold for 450, pretty much as is. I mean, that's the way to get it done. Otherwise, you're going to sit on the market and slowly walk the price down till you finally reach a price which will work for buyers. However, you're probably going to net less than you would have had you gone out of the gate in the first place at the right price. So buyers are looking at everything that's going on around them. They can see the nearby competition. They can see what similar homes look like and whether or not they're going off the market. And buyers are making a decision whether or not they're going to leave their fuzzy bunny slippers to go look at your home based on that online presentation. So that very first showing that you're going to get is going to be online. That's where everybody's looking and deciding, okay, am I going to waste my gas money and go see it? I've actually had buyers call me and complain that these were other agents' buyers calling me to complain that when they got to the house, it wasn't what they expected, even though I had it in the MLS, which the agent did not read. And they were mad at me because they spent their gas money to go look at my listing, and they were their client, not mine. So there's this expectation out there is what you get, and that's not always the case. But if you want multiple offers, like I had this one that sold in January that was nice home, tri-level. They did basics on updating, fresh paint, fresh carpet. Usually that's enough for buyers to move in, drop their stuff, and get on with their life. Good neighborhood, but not really fancy. It still had Formica counters. It had wide appliances, not really super fancy, right? And I asked the seller, what is your strategy? Do you want to sell fast, or do you want to wait? At the time, days on market was over 100 days. Do you want to wait 100 days to get? I said, all right. Well, I think your home will sell for $425, but I think you should price it at $399. That one we had our open house, and it sold for $426. So, and we actually had a higher offer at $440. Buyer wasn't as strong. So when you price it right, the benefit of doing that is that you actually get a multitude of offers and the best buyer for your home. In this case, the best buyer was willing to pay $426 and close, like finish cash in his checking account in just 10 days. That's very attractive to the typical buyer. I had another one do a similar scenario in Rock Rimmon last year. And, it's probably worth $7, obviously offers at $700,000, but we priced at $650. And he didn't want to pay 3% commission. He's like, Barb, in my mind, do anything. You did all the work, so I only want to pay 2%. I said, okay. So we countered the first one that asked for 3%. And the agent, and this is a cash buyer that had plenty of money, the agent insisted on the seller paying him 3%. So guess what? That buyer did not get the house, and he ended up getting fired. And another buyer got the house that was fine with that. It's not a short-term process, right? You want your clients to love you, refer you. Repeat referral business is really critical. And you'll be able to tell if you priced it right really quickly based on the activity that you're getting. If you're getting more than 4 showings in a week, that's a good sign. It's going to go, okay? But if you're doing that and not getting offers, you're a little bit off. If you're getting very few showings, you're 3%, 5%, maybe 6%. But usually there is a price where the buyers will show up and make offers. It's pricing that sparks offers more than anything else. And I know that because I had these homes that are very cosmetically challenged that I've been selling, that I'm thinking I wouldn't buy this house, but I had this old broker that had this saying that was so cute. He said, there's a puppy for every doghouse. And so what the buyers are doing is if they could finance the rehab of that home into their loan and get a lower price, they are jumping on it and they're paying full market value. And you can tell by the number of views and saves and shares on Zillow. If you look at Zillow, our results are much higher because of the way we market. But the buyers do notice days on market. So if it's sitting on the market for a long time, they are automatically thinking there's something wrong. And I don't know what defines a long time. I know the average right now is 90 days. However, if you're not selling in the first couple of weeks, you're off on the price. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. I'm also having a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this. I'm glad this show is airing on the 4th of July. What a happy day for us. The country's 250th birthday, and pretty awesome thing that we have going here. Richard?
I have to echo that. What a great day. 250 years. And I still see a number of good years ahead. And for people who are buying and selling homes as well as you, you're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. And you can listen to replays of the show anytime on all of the major podcast platforms and Barb's YouTube channel as well. If you're thinking of making the move, call Barb 719 301 3900. Barb, what are some of the other magic bullets on pricing your home to get that top dollar?
Well, you have to price it, I think, below similar sales to get top dollar. That's always worked for me. I don't care what's going on in the market right now. I don't care what the interest rates are. Even during the meltdown when, people were asking premium prices for homes, yet there were the homes that were discounted were just selling like hotcakes. So it's all about pricing. And when you have multiple offers, you're actually going to get more money because you are attracting a number of offers and you're able to pick the best buyer for your home. I had one seller ask me that question recently, and it was an inherited home. It was absolutely a 80s time warp. It had the pink mauve carpet, and the kitchen was not updated. And the nearby neighborhood was full of homes that, newer custom homes with all the bells and whistles. And so they asked me, should they update the kitchen? I said, white appliances, tile counters, kind of funky kitchen. I said, no, you're not going to get the money doing that. You got to price it right. There's a big home in 5 acres. They priced it probably about 5% below similar sales. So they asked $899 for that home. We had over 80 people at the 1 hour open house. We ended up getting, I think, 6 offers, and it sold for $75,000 over asking price. So that was market value. That basically, when you get a lot of people in and a lot of people making offers, they are the ones that set the real market value. And the seller was very happy. And all they did was just some minor cosmetics. They took care of the mauve carpet. They freshened the floors. Even the sinks, the bathroom sinks were seashell shaped and pink. And they had those painted with the polyurethane. It looked amazing and it sold fast. So you can tell if it's the wrong price based on buyer resistance. And it's a big mistake because you'll end up netting less money. But if it's priced right, it's going to go very quickly in this market. It is still a desirable market, believe it or not, but you have to approach it with the goal to sell. Nothing more frustrating than having showing after showing, or having deals fall apart, or having to slowly walk the price down. That's just, not the best scenario. Speed's definitely a factor in this world because everybody expects things instantly. Richard.
Barb, you've got some hot new listings today. Why don't you tell us about them? Go through them one by one.
Yeah, well, I've got beautiful home up in Jackson Creek and Briargate with spectacular views. Almost 4,000 square feet, walkout basement, 3-car garage, priced at $699. Another great home in the low 3s on Kasdan Circle. It's actually been completely remodeled and in good shape. A spectacular home that actually is lakefront up in Highland Lakes in Divide, priced at $699. Beautiful home out on Jorba Grove. This is out in Peyton. This one's on 35 acres with a massive barn, a couple of other outbuildings, a 4-car detached garage. This home's at $639. We have 2 homes up in Crystal Park, one on Eagle Mountain. Now that's one of those deals where they're offering the VA assumable loan at a whopping 2.5%. It's amazing. Might as well price that home at $250,000 because that's how much of a bonus you're getting when you buy a house like that. It's such a gift to the buyer. We have another great home in Pueblo on Buffalo Lane, actually a VA repo in the low 2s. Fabulous home down in Pueblo on 62 acres, walkout basement, 4-car garage, priced at just $599. We have a beautiful home out in Peyton on Cascading Springs in the mid 4s. Another fabulous downtown townhome at Fountain Avenue in the low 5s. Great home down in the 80908 zip code, almost new home on Moose Jaw in the low sixes. Another Crystal Park home just lowered the price to $790, has solar and spectacular views. Great home down by Circle and Fillmore at on Mead Avenue in the low threes. Beautiful home in Woodland Park, couple homes in Woodland Park, one on Bridal at $697, and a townhome that's over 2,500 square feet at $375 in Woodland Park. One on Balsam Street. This is a Gardener's Delight at $499. Another Pueblo home at $369, and a great home on 5 acres on Warriors Path. And then we also have a fabulous hobby farm on 80 acres on Judge Orr Road at 1.4 million. This one has beautiful custom home plus a detached auxiliary dwelling unit and multiple barns. You can house 11 cars, lots of critters. It's really cool. Another home on County Road 421 on 35 acres with a detached apartment and huge RV garage. And then new to the market, 38801 Private Road 17, also on 40 acres with a big RV garage and a barn and all this space. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com.